So what up, though? I'm Don, Stay Lace Don, from the west side of Detroit. Been in the sneaker culture here for a long time. Right now I'm also the marketing manager for Foot Locker in Detroit. I would define a sneakerhead as someone who has either an obsession or affinity for collecting footwear. So I don't necessarily, I know it's like a lot of back and forth about it being kind of hype beastie associated, but for me, I feel like it's one of them terms you either like own and like appreciate, or you don't fuck with it at all, kind of thing. You know, kind of thing. I'm one of the people who like, I will identify myself as that. Like, yeah, I would say I'm a sneakerhead. So just going back to the definition, like I think it's someone who just has an affinity for sneakers, right? And for me, I definitely identify with that. You know, like I got into shoes when I was really young, and it's just something that is always like something I've always carried with me. You know, something that I find fun in, I find joy in, I find, you know, outlet and creativity in, you know, to the point where I wanted to make it a career. I liked them when I was young. I think I didn't become part of the world. It opened up to me in a really unique way. Like I remember, like I'm only 28, but I remember when every crib didn't have like a computer. And then even when we did have computers, it was like, either it was like one in the whole crib, or you know what I'm saying? It still wasn't like, the internet wasn't as like easily accessible as it is today, you know, kind of thing. So when we finally got a computer at the house and I could like look up different like sneaker forums and things like that, you know, like Nike Talk and, you know, Pick Your Shoes, Nice Kicks, all these different things, like the world of sneakers opened up to me in a way that I didn't know existed. Like I thought it was just me for real, you know, like I didn't have like older siblings in the game, you know what I'm saying, to kind of bring me along. It was like, yo, like I just would see shit and be like, yo, those are crazy, like not knowing what they were, you know what I'm saying? Then I finally found out, like literally through the internet, like, oh shit, like it's a whole world of people who also collect shoes and want all these different colors or whatever, you know what I'm saying? There's other people out here like me. I think it's a bit of both. You know, I think that a culture just has like kind of key identifiers, you know, and sneaker culture for sure is something that impacts music, it impacts art, you know, and vice versa. Those things impact it as well. When we talk about it as a community, I think that it has all the elements of a community as well. You know, like we can all kind of work together and lean on each other, all based on us having a common interest, you know, like you doing this series, you know, but you also come out and support my sneaker events too, you know, kind of thing. Like, you know, we also have our sneaker cleaning service, Clean, you know, kind of thing. So it's like when I see people like you supporting that, like that's a community. You know what I'm saying? Like we're building on each other's platforms, we're working with each other, we're there for each other. You know, us patronizing stores that we know the owners at, you know, kind of thing, and supporting them. It's like, it's for sure a community too. So I think it's a little bit of both. It's inevitable. I think that's what anything, for there to be people like you said that kind of like want to move it forward, and people who are like, yo, like they stuck in their ways, they holding it back, kind of thing. The thing is that you can't hold it back. You know, it's like it's going to grow, it's going to evolve over time, and just like anything else, change is uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So like we're not always going to be open to it, but the thing is you don't have to. It's going to keep moving with or without you. You know, kind of like music, you know, when old heads are like, yo, like I can't get with this cloud rap, mumble rap or whatever, it's like, that's cool, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it may be dated to you, you might not like it. I don't like some of it, you feel me? But there's a younger generation who's gonna buy into it, and that's what they vibe is, that's what they feel. And it happens throughout time. Same thing when gangster rap came out, you know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, this is crazy violent. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't, like, how can you enjoy this? You know what I'm saying? And these are the same cats who looking at cloud rap now or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, it goes. But I think that over time, there's always gonna be people who push and pull. You know, I think with sneaker culture, is something that changed really rapidly. You know, it was a moment where like, it was a handful of resellers, we all knew them, and they was the homie, you know what I'm saying? It was like you was getting homie prices, you was cool. It was more so of a resource than something that's oversaturated. So I think that's something that made the kind of OG kind of crowd like, they don't even know what this is, they don't know what's going on. And then also, you know, if you in the Jordans or whatever, like that's a story that's based on a legacy that's 3 decades old now. You know, kind of thing, to where like if you a teenager right now, you don't remember Jordan playing. You know what I'm saying? You don't remember, we're like looking at his legacy, what's left over of it, kind of thing. So the cats you looking at from a sneaker perspective are gonna be Bron and KD. you know, maybe still Kobe, but then also like fashion designers. They call them kind of everyday heroes. People like Virgil Abloh and Jerry Lorenzo, you know what I'm saying? So they're looking at it from that kind of celebrity influencer lens, designer lens, as opposed to where these are people who influenced us from what they was doing on the court, what they was doing on the football field and shit like that. You know, so I think that we just all have different reasons why we got into it, you know, kind of thing. And as a result, it's like some people are going to be like, well, you just don't know your history, whatever. And it's not true, you know what I'm saying? But there's young cats out here who like, they can rattle off release dates and drops way better than I can, you know, kind of thing. So it's always going to be push and pull. I feel for me is I've always found it interesting to try to make something you passionate about where you also, you know, get money from, you know what I'm saying? Like really making it a part of your life, you know, and I think like that's a really hard space to navigate sometimes. Whether you're doing something creative or just something new as an entrepreneur, it's really hard sometimes to make like your passion like your actual life. You know, we spend so much time making things like secondary, like you go to your 9 to 5 and you do your dream job kind of like after hours or on the weekends or whatever kind of thing. So for me, I kind of wanted to make it a mission to like really like change that for myself, you know, kind of thing. And I've been able to, you know, I've been blessed with opportunities and things like that from doing all my side projects in the sneaker culture and sneaker industry, you know, to the point where it got me, you know, into kind of like the corporate side of things now. But I see myself as a person who is moving it forward, you know, and I try to bring on people that I know or are from Detroit or are from Detroit sneaker culture and build along with the platform that I have, you know. So if I'm doing photo shoots, I'm using local photographers instead of bringing somebody from New York or somewhere else. No, you know, diss to other people like that. But I like trying to stay genuine and providing that opportunity for other people who have similar interests and, you know, background as I do. All right, so inside I have my favorite #1 all-time sneaker is Varsity Red Retro 6. This is my favorite shoe, really. I like 90s, like nostalgia. You know, like I was born in the 90s, you know, kind of thing. So like I wasn't like, I think it would be different if I was like a teenager in it, but when I watch movies or look back at that era, I'm like, yo, like their style was dope, the fashion was dope, the music was dope. I'm really inspired by that era. And just retro basketball in general, it's like kind of like the style that I like kind of subscribe to. Like I love, you know, just retro Jordans, retro Nike basketball shoes, like, you know, all of that is like really dope to me. But the 6, I like this one better than actually I have infrareds too, but I like Varsity Reds more. I just like that dark red, you know, kind of thing. I like that deep red that's on it is special to me, you know, than the suede. It's like it's really a shoe you can beat up, you know, kind of thing. You can wear time and time again. Like this is the like 2010 release, you know, so like my toe box starting to peel a little bit, but that's because I wear my shit, you know what I'm saying? Like the day I got these, I wore them the very next day, and it was like winter low key, you know, kind of thing. But I was like, yo, I'm gonna waterproof them a little bit, but whatever happened, I'm about to step out on them, you know what I'm saying? They done held up well, and I done kind of swapped it out for the infrareds now, so I don't wear them that much. But definitely my #1 favorite shoe. It's both, you know, when we talk about nostalgia and the style of it, used to be a Jordan website called History of Flight, and they went from every Jordan from 1 to like whatever year, like newer model that was at the time, and it was like interactive. As you clicked through the Jordans, it told you about their story, like the design inspiration behind them, like the Porsche spoiler, you know, being the inspiration for the pull tab on these kind of thing, you know. So all of that, I was really intrigued by being able to take, you know, a story or a moment that was particular to this player, then like create a design around it. So that like really like inspired me. Then like you said, from a style perspective, like I said, I really like 90s like retro style. Yeah, it's versatile to the point where you can wear it literally with whatever. Like the way that I dress, I don't even really try to match kind of thing. I just like, if I like my shoes, I pretty much start with the shoes, throw them on, and then like whatever else happen, you know, kind of thing. Like, you know, I like how they sit, you know, when I'm wearing like the right kind of jeans or whatever with them. Like there's just like a really crispy look for me. But also, like I said, this is a shoe, I'll put this on with literally anything that I'm wearing. And, you know, I'm still fresh to me. You know what I'm saying? When I look down at them, I'm like, yo, I'm literally happy looking down on them because it's like I'm wearing my favorite shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually got like a pin, like a keychain of this shoe, you know, kind of thing, before I actually got the shoes. I was like, it's the closest thing I got right now, you know, and I keep that shit with me, you know. You know, every like release be having like, at that time, at least when I was working there, like it was lines, you know, kind of thing. But I had never seen people like camping out overnight and shit like that until like I was, when I went to Western for a little while. So I was working at a mall like in Kalamazoo, well, in Portage. And it was like people like camped outside, like literally overnight, you know, kind of thing, like spend a night in sleeping bags and shit like that for shoes. And I was like, that shit's so wild. But when I was working in Battle Creek, it was like some dudes in the store, like they was scrapping over something. And I think it did start over like, I don't know if it was just on site or if it was because they was talking about some shoes kind of thing, but they started bucking in the store and they was scrapping so wild that they like, you know, when you watch a cartoon and they just go into like a cloud because they fighting so much, like you can't really see what's happening. They did that and they tumbled like into the stock room. Like, it was like, wow, bro. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, how? Like, so like that shit was crazy.